You probably need a credit card that is your primary credit card that is in your wallet no matter what. And in case you're someone who's looking for that one card setup, this could be that card. But when picking your primary credit card, have you thought about what persona you are so that you can make the right choice? We'll break the video down into 3 sections. The first section is going to introduce the 3 personas that we're going to focus on for the sake of this video. And we'll try and pick one credit card for each of these personas. The second part of the video will focus on the factors affecting the decision-making process for each of these personas. And by analyzing these factors, we'll arrive at which credit card they should be choosing as their primary credit card. And the last part of the video is where it gets interesting because I will go through each of these personas and make a decision for the one credit card I would choose if I were those personas. So stick around till the end of the video to see that. Let's start with the first part of the video, which is introducing the 3 personas that we talked about. The first persona is someone who takes multiple trips during the course of a year, loves experiences including but not limited to hotels and flights. And for all practical purposes, travel happens to be either their first or second largest expense category. We'll call this persona the traveler. The second kind of persona is someone who does not really care about credit cards at all. They kind of look at credit card as a necessary evil to build credit, and that's why they have credit cards. We'll call the second persona indifferent. The third persona we'll focus on is someone who looks at value for everything in their life. In a lot of ways, their measure of happiness depends on the amount of value they can extract from every single experience. And this value that they are making decisions based off of can either be objective or subjective to them. We'll call the third persona the optimizer. Now that we've introduced the 3 personas, let's move on to the second part of the video, which is focusing on the factors that affect each of these personas. And let's start with the traveler. This is a person that cares about having hotel or airline status or maybe both, obsesses about lounge access given the amount of travel they do during the year. They're probably also juggling multiple credit cards to get to different goals, and that can make the process of choosing the primary credit card even more difficult. And we can also safely assume that this person has a good to very sophisticated understanding of the points and miles ecosystem. Which brings us to the factors affecting the indifferent persona. If I had to choose one word to describe this persona, it would be simplicity. We can also safely assume that this persona does not care about transferring points from credit cards to hotel or airline partners. And while they'll be happy with a good return on investment, they don't want to be thinking about it every single time they have to spend on something. So in essence, they are looking for a balance between value and effort. And that brings us to the optimizer, which is the last persona. And here I have a feeling that this person is going to optimize for a select few credit cards. And the reason I think that is because getting new credit cards means working towards an intro offer. Now, while they are value-centric, there's also this tendency that you tend to overspend to hit intro offers, and that might inhibit them from getting a new credit card. This persona probably understands the tips and tricks associated with points harnessing, but may not always use it. And for this persona, multipliers are going to be very important as they're trying to extract the most value from the credit card they have in their hand. So if I had to summarize what this persona looks like, this person is looking for a balance between value and cost. And that brings us to the third and the final part of the video where we talk about which primary credit cards each of these personas will choose. If I were the traveler persona, I will probably be choosing the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Now bear in mind that this is not the only credit card this persona is holding, but this is their primary credit card. More often than not, you'll find this credit card in their wallet. And the reason I believe this is the right credit card for this persona is for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's a credit card that's a well-balanced credit card at the premium level. It offers you access to priority pass lounges as well as Chase Sapphire lounges. So whether you're traveling within the US or outside of the US, you can always access a lounge with this credit card. Since you're a traveler, the $300 travel credit that this card comes with should be fairly easy to use. And since travel is the largest spending category, you get 3x back on anything that codes as travel. This spans from flights, hotels, to car rentals, and anything in between. This persona has a credit card for hotels, or flights, or maybe both. But the primary credit card they should be selecting is the Chase Sapphire Reserve. I thought about the Capital One Venture X giving the Chase Sapphire Reserve a strong run for its money, but the reason it did not become the primary credit card in their wallet is simply down to the kind of travel partners that Chase has versus Capital One has. And in my opinion, Chase has the superior travel partner ecosystem. Which brings us to the primary card selection for the second persona, which is the indifferent persona. And here I went ahead with the Capital One Savor Rewards card. This card gets you 3x back on dining and groceries, but also does not complicate your life with annual fees and any of the other shenanigans. I also thought about the US Bank Altitude Reserve card because of the cashback that you get on the card. But getting this card can be complicated given their credit score requirements and the high annual fee. I felt like the Capital One Savor Reward card gives you the best simplicity. And if you focus on the optimizer persona, The primary credit card I've chosen for this persona is the Citi Strata Premier. While this card comes with a $95 annual fee, and there's nothing clearly that can offset that annual fee except for the $100 back that you get when you book a hotel for $500 or more through their travel portal, this may seem like a strange choice. The reason it still makes sense to me for this persona is because of the multipliers on this credit card. You get 3x back on a bunch of categories like dining, groceries, as well as gas. And when you're an optimizer, having this one card that can do so many things and get you good returns on every dollar you spend, to me becomes the most critical part of the equation. The way the optimizer makes sense of the annual fee in this case is pretty simple. If we assume that they use the Citi Thank You points partly for cashback and partly by transferring out to travel partners, you can safely assume that the average value that they get from Citi Thank You points is about 1.2. And if you do the math on a $95 annual fee, the number of points you need to accumulate before the card breaks even is about 8,000 points. Which on a card which has 3x multipliers on multiple categories means that you're looking at about $2,600 in spend over the entire year. Let me know in the comments below which card you would have chosen for each of these personas, and like always, I'll see you in the next one.